Yeah.
Yo,
What
hello. Hey, how's it going?
It's going good, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a nice day. I finally got some good sleep last night. Just like,
Oh, dude.
like
How
had a,
many hours you sleep, bro?
I got like 9 hours.
Oh, dude, I slept like 10. It was so fucking
Like
nice.
I just needed it so badly, and I went to bed. I just like big crashed, like,
Yeah, same, bro.
like in one motion. I plugged in my phone, like laid down and fell asleep. you know.
Yeah, dude, that's what's up, bro.
And so I'm like, oh, finally, like I'm awake.
Oh, no. I woke up at like fucking 1 today. It felt so good.
Yeah, I slept from like 3 to 12, and I was like, oh,
Oh.
I'm unstoppable now.
Dude, these fucking hoes on rank better watch out, dude. I'm coming for their ass today.
All right, sick. So, all right, what are we getting into today?
We looking at Fox, bro. I hate this guy, dude.
Yeah, so what's going on? Hello.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, I said, so what's going on, like in the
What's
matchup?
going on with Falco? Dude, he's the only. You know how like you set up good stuff with Falco,
Mm-hmm.
and you pretty much just always get something out of it. Fox is like the only character where you set shit up, and it still feels like random whether you hit or not.
I get what you're saying, yeah, because he's still fast.
Yeah, bro, you can't get in on him, bro.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm down to take a look at the Slippy file and see what happens in that regard, and feel free to mention anything as it comes up. So I'll
Yeah.
start the Discord stream. Okay. Oh, I think we skipped the intro. So if you could just tell people like your tag, where you're from, how long you've been playing, and your goals for the game.
Ooh. All right. I am Ginormous Man 123. I've been playing Melee for about 10 years. And I only started recently taking it seriously since Slippy came out because I lived in a little town in MDVA with no practice. So you can imagine that pre
Mm-hmm.
Slippy, it's hard to get good at the game if you don't have good practice.
Definitely.
And then Slippy was a godsend. So then I started grinding, and then I just, I don't really get to travel a lot. So I just made it my goal to try and climb up the ladder. And recently I hit master, and I'm trying to hit grandmaster this season. So trying to level up my game.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's good. Um, so do you want me to list your tag on like YouTube as Ginormous Man 123?
Oh hell yeah, bro.
Okay, cool. So one sec, I gotta change the title of the stream.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
I just
actually.
used your Discord tag.
Oh, true.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually watched a bunch of your VODs that you upload on YouTube, which was a godsend because it helped a lot for a lot of different matchups.
Oh, let's go. That makes me really happy to hear.
I um I want to get to the point where I understand all the characters as well as I do Puff because for some reason I understand that one the most. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why. I like never ever lose to Puffs unless it's like SDJ. Like if I don't
Mm-hmm.
if I don't run into him, I typically don't lose to Puff, but I like to get every character to be that way, ideally.
Okay, well, I think that's a character that a lot of people struggle with, so it's good to get that out of the way.
Yeah, yeah. Most people don't really fuck with Puff.
Yeah, I do not like that character, but it is a lot more obvious how to beat her than to beat Fox.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna take a look for a second, see what I see. Feel free to bring up anything. I already have a slight suspicion, but we'll see. Hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is how it goes. Okay.
Yeah. He starts beating my ass, bro.
Okay, yeah. So I've seen it a couple times, the laser thing, and I'll talk about it in one more second. I want to see
Okay.
the next time it comes up. Yeah, yeah, okay. I'll wait for one more actually. I'm curious what the next one looks like.
Oh no, I had Butterfingers this game.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So the range that you're trying to control Fox with lasers at is like the range that Fox wants on the lasers.
Mm,
And so you finish shooting your laser. So basically like this matchup a lot of times is Falco running around, he's moving around the stage constantly shooting lasers. And the whole time Fox is kind of moving around the stage, either avoiding the laser or taking the laser or like shielding it or something like that. And the range at which each laser hits, like let's just take the ground for now. We're not going to worry about full hops and platforms. So like just assuming you're like moving around on the ground, each time your laser hits Fox, whether it's like him shielding or him dashing or whatever, some sort of range is like established. And so every time the laser hits, that is like a range that we're going to want to like register in our brains.
okay.
And so a lot of times the way the neutral works is that you're trying to look for a spot, like you're just kind of like most lasers that hit are going to be ranges that aren't really like ideal, and your job is to kind of move around and shoot more until, because it's kind of, you can't create a range perfectly because Fox is also moving, and like you both kind of have to deal with that problem that you want specific ranges, but it's hard because you're both moving. And so you
Mm,
kind of want to move around with the lasers until a range comes up that you feel comfortable with actually fighting out, or you feel like you have some kind of a read at Fox at that distance.
I see what you mean. So
And
not like every laser is a money laser.
and not what? Sorry.
Not every laser is a money laser where you can just go
Yeah,
in and.
exactly. In fact, like most lasers aren't money lasers. Most lasers you get like a little information. Like you're like, okay, this is at a range that I don't really want to play. What does Fox try to do at that range? And like recording, like most of the time when you're moving around, a lot of the movement and stuff, you can record it a little bit and think about it. But each time the laser hits, that is like the most important information and neutral to be like remembering as the set continues forward, like what range the laser hit at, and then what happened after the laser, in particular what they tried to do after the laser happens at that range. So you're like, oh, it hit at this range, what do they do there? Hit at this range, what do they do there? Because for instance, there's a bunch of ranges where like you want to, like maybe the down air feels decent, but it's also a range where the dash back looks really good for Fox, and the Fox has dashed back at that range. Like while you're moving around lasering and not actually committing to something, maybe Fox has dashed back at that range 3 times to avoid like a potential down air that you didn't do. And
Mm,
so like then the next time that range comes up, maybe you can do an approaching laser there because you've already realized that Fox likes to dash back in that position. And that would
mm.
be like an example of how you would kind of get in with like an approaching
See,
laser or something on
this is
Fox.
the thing with foxes. You have to use your brain, and I don't like doing that. Like you have to.
And if you don't like using your brain, you should switch to Fox from Falco because that's the brainless character. Like Fox is like the burr, whatever, nair shine, nair drill, and then Falco is like the professor character. So if you don't like the vibe of being the really smart guy, then Falco's not for you. Because otherwise Falco is a character where you kind of like just, it's like if they ask a question in class and you just say something and you're like, sometimes it's right. And like when it's right, I feel really smart because I got the right answer without even thinking about it, and it's like you
Yeah,
can play Falco like that, but you'll be plagued by inconsistency forever.
I see what you mean.
So, okay, so a couple things is you don't. Okay, let's see. There's a few things that are like more fundamental game planning, and then more stuff that I want to talk about based on like what exactly you're doing. So the first thing, and I've gone over this in a lot of Falco Fox lessons, is if you can at all help it, you do not want to interact with Fox like physically, like without your lasers, basically, until he is at least at 8%. If you can get him to a little bit, which is like I think 3 lasers. If you can get him to a little bit higher than that, that would be great. But 8% is basically the limit. Like if Fox is not at 8% yet, you do not want to interact with him. If he tries to force something and he does it badly, like, you know, you go to a platform and he gives you a shine out of shield or something like that, or like a shield drop shine, that's fine. If he gives you like a freebie shine or a freebie grab, that's fine. But you're basically at a percent below around 8 to 10, where if you do like laser down air and the down air hits, Fox can still just shine you out before your shine happens. And
Even if it's like really late?
Not if it's really late, but so essentially at 0, you're limited to super late down air, shine, grab, and laser. Okay. And that, or like clip him out of the air. Like you're on the that's why like a lot of like Falcos like at low percent will like kind of move around on like the top platform or something, because if Fox happens to jump up, then you're like, oh, quick back air, and now you got him out of the percent, and you can immediately start playing like the real game. So whenever Fox is at 0, you should definitely see it as like you there's no pressure for you to attack or approach at all. It's all on Fox, because you need the lasers more than Fox. Like if Fox gets less out of the defensive game here than Falco. Fox can drill grab you at 0 and 0 death. He doesn't have any sort of percent-based issues. Obviously, if like Fox Nair knocks you down or breaks CC or whatever, that's good for him. But it's not this like, well, he can't interact with you. Whereas Falco can't really interact well when Fox is at 0. So like, have you seen my like double laser in place video?
No.
Okay, so that is like the big thing. I have it like pinned or something. I can link you to it after the lesson, and it basically goes over, it's like a 15-minute video. It goes over like in depth that essentially there's a range at which when you hit the first laser, like if you shoot the first laser and you see that it's like gonna connect with Fox, you're guaranteed a second laser that Fox can't punish.
Oh, okay.
And so it's kind of like you're being too far away for Fox to punish the laser coming out, but it's like the first laser gets in his way enough that the second one is guaranteed to be able to get out.
That's really interesting.
And that is like the best defensive position that Falco has on the ground, where basically like, and so the range is about, let me just find like a spot for it. When you guys get to about that range, the range is about here. Like, let's say you were on the ground, and you were stationary. This would be about the range for that laser, and you can just shoot 2 double lasers in place. Like I said, I'll send you the video for it after.
That's just good for like getting the 2 or 3 lasers you need to get him to that good percent.
Yeah, and it's also really nice because you get to like, so it works at this range or longer. So like at the beginning when you hit this laser, you shoot this laser, you're guaranteed to be able to just immediately shoot a second laser right here with no danger. And so you can always just shoot the second one if the first one is for sure gonna like hit. And so what would happen here, the second laser would come out, Fox is dash dancing, you get free damage. And you can just keep ripping these for until Fox makes something happen. Usually they go to the platform, and then you go up to the platform, and the game like really starts. But if you can get some free percent here, that's really good. And the lasers are like more important here than like even like if you get this down air read. Look at like Fox is like basically like even on like timing with you. Like you might have been even gotten like, let's see. Yeah, like look at, you're like active on like this like you're active one frame earlier than Fox. Yeah. And it's like that is like not very good for this down air that didn't even hit like immensely early. Like it doesn't hit like on the like you do the down air like it wasn't like you were doing like a rising down air, right? Like you did the down air in a way that you're falling, and he still can kind of slip out. And so like any down airs at those low percents are just not very good. And so you gotta watch it, and that's why like the laser camp is so important. And So there's two laser patterns that I just want to go over really quick because they're like the most fundamental to this matchup and to Falco in general. But this matchup is the one where like you really need to know them, like for sure. And it's the double laser in place, and it's retreating laser, approaching laser. So before I get further into the video, I'm just gonna like pull up Uncle Punch and show you what I mean. It's like it's basically just like the two super fundamental laser patterns that never really change, and you get to use them all the time. So the first one is the double laser, and you want to be able to shoot it. It's about this range is the minimum range you can do it at, and you want to be able to shoot them as fast as you can. And if you're really good, so I always say the best height to shoot a laser is you want to hit Fox right on the tip of his nose. If you can hit Fox right on the tip of his nose, this is like the perfect spot, because if he does a short hop nair, the laser still hits the bottom of the nair, and when he crouches down to run or like to dash where he puts his head down, it'll still hit him.
Oh, okay.
So there's this, I call them snout lasers. It's this see how they're like, and you're not gonna get it perfect, but you want to hit the snout laser every time if you can.
Okay.
And that just covers like the whole short hop. Like he just can't slip through those lasers. And so you want to do these as much as you can, and he cannot approach through those. So that's pattern 1. Pattern 2 is you do retreating laser, approaching laser, where you get rid of the space and you take the same space again. And so, or it's like expand the space and then you take back that same space. And so part of the reason why it's so good is that, think of it like there's this rhythm that the lasers hit Fox when you do this, right? Where it's like boom, 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 boom. And then so when you do an approaching laser, the second laser hits Fox faster than the stationary rhythm, because when you're moving forward,
it hits faster.
Yeah, it hits faster, right? And when you're moving away, when you do laser retreating laser, the gap between the first and second laser is larger, because you're moving away with the laser.
Oh, so like fucks with his timing.
So this creates a timing mix-up where you have a slow second laser, an extra fast second laser, and the normal second laser. And so what you're able to do is you're able to do stuff like this, where you go like boom, 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 boom. And it's like Fox cannot react to that on like this super easy algorithm. Like when you're doing, if you're doing this, Fox had to do something in there that was a little, like you're mixing up the position.
Like a little sketch.
Yeah, like, so if I'm doing this, like there's like a constantly changing window that the lasers are coming out on. And if Fox ever gets, like if I'm doing this and then Fox ever gets within, or he gets close to being within the range where the double laser is not good anymore, then I can just shoot them in place and then retreat. So yeah. That like sort of creates this like really good like laser lockdown game, so you don't have to deal with Fox just being able to kind of like rush in and crush you. Because what happens is Falcos will do laser dash dance. And the issue with the laser dash dance, if you don't do it, so when you do it really close to Fox, it's good, because you're threatening like this big mix where even if Fox dashes away, you can still approaching laser shine. You can still a lot of times catch him with the down air if he's really close up and you down air. Whereas like when you're dash dancing at this range, so first of all, you wave dash back after this first laser, so you're wasting that critical window where like the first laser comes out and the second laser's free. By doing this wave dash back, you've gotten rid of your like first laser advantage. I call it like establishing, like you get like an establishing laser. So like when this first laser comes out, you want a second laser really fast, and then you can start moving around with the lasers, but the lasers need to keep coming, basically. You're only allowed to stop shooting them if you go to the side platform.
I guess I have two questions. So one is like, is the approaching laser also good because you're like building up momentum? It would be easier to like catch him going forward too.
Building up momentum in what way? Like you're saying,
so like when you do the retreating approaching laser, like when you're doing the approaching laser, you're already moving forward. So
yes, yeah. That actually gives you some extra distance that helps with a bunch of stuff, like subtly. It's not like the main point of it, but it does help a lot.
the main point is that it like creates more timing mix-ups for the lasers.
Yeah, it creates a timing mix-up, and laser approaching laser hits really fast. So, like, technically the strongest laser Falco has is laser approaching laser. Because the gap between them is the smallest, so Fox is like, he gets stunned, and then he gets a very
Stunned
small amount
again.
of time before the second laser's coming in. So he has less options to actually deal with the second laser.
Huh. I guess my my other question is like how would I know, like let's just say I'm looking at the character select screen, I'm looking at all 26 characters. How would I like intuitively, like if I wanted to go and figure this out on my own, how would I start thinking about each character and seeing what's more applicable of like double laser in place versus retreating approaching laser, like when it would be good versus characters and when it would be bad.
So it's like, yeah, it's obviously different. Like, the way you're gonna want to use lasers is a little bit different for every character. I would say you can like make. Do you have like Uncle Punch training mode?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could just set up a replay where you are playing the other character and Falco shoots a laser and then like shoots two immediate lasers, and you can even do like the frame by frame where you're doing like two optimally fast lasers, and then you get hit by the first laser and you try to punish the second laser.
And then like what characters I feel like, okay, well Marth can't do shit versus this, or like,
Yeah,
or
like,
maybe.
so yeah, like what you would do is you would be like, okay, like I'm pretty sure there's a range where Marth can like take the first laser and forward smash Falco before the second laser. And so you'd be like, okay, what range can I shoot this second laser at that like I cannot punish it as the other character?
Mm. So
And
it's
so
not necessarily that like you don't want to do them at all in any matchup. It's just like the ranges change depending on which character you're
the
playing.
ranges change depending on which character it is, and then as you probably noticed, Laser Dash Dance is good against most of, like, good enough against most of the cast. The reason why we
Yeah.
need this crazy double laser nonsense against Fox is because he's so ridiculously fast.
Okay.
Like, against Marth, Laser Dash Dance and like Laser Crouch and stuff are like really, really good. And you still want to, I would say the one, like, the double laser in place is good against everybody, but it's not completely required. Whereas retreating laser, approaching laser is like Falco's bread and butter against like the whole cast pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Like the
Against
retreating,
every character, damn.
well, because it's like the first laser is unpunishable because you're retreating, and the second laser is unpunishable because it comes right after the first one. And you also didn't, it's not greedy because you didn't try to take space. Like, if you do laser in place approaching laser, they might
That'd
like
be
up smash
greedy.
you, right? It's too greedy. Whereas like retreating and approaching with it, it's like you're in the same location you were before, but you have like this double laser, like you have the second laser coming out fast and you have forward momentum
Okay.
despite you not even trying to take any space.
Damn. Okay.
It's really strong.
Damn. Okay. I'll have to think about that more.
So, back to the VOD. If so, by doing this here, you basically like, by giving up this first laser. Now, if you try to do the laser, Fox can put, like, if you tried the laser right now, Fox would be getting like really deep in on you for the laser because like you gave him time to run all the way in on you.
Hmm.
And so, like, that's what the problem with Laser Dash Dance or Laser Wave Dash and stuff like that against Fox is that, like, you're giving him a chance to really get close or to, like, move. Like, basically, if you give him this much time, like, laser, and watch this much time right here, where after the laser, look at this, nothing's happening to him, nothing's happening to him, nothing's happening. He could be anywhere. He could be over here by now, you know? Like,
Yeah.
where you're not controlling him at all. Like, the laser is the way that, like, essentially, like, imagine, like, Fox is way faster than Falco. The lasers, rather than speeding us up, allow us to constantly slow down Fox by peppering him with lasers until he's slower than us.
Hmm.
That is the goal of the laser is like, I'm moving and then Fox is moving, but he gets stopped by the lasers so often that if you average it out, I kind of get to move more.
Okay. Huh.
And so like if you're ever going for like a mix, like a raw mix against Fox, it's almost always bad. Like if you the way I usually explain it is that like if you want to tell someone how you got your neutral opening on the Fox, like if they were just like, okay, the situation starts here, how did you get your opening? And if your description of how you got that opening does not include the word laser at some point, usually multiple times, then like it's not a real opening. He just because he's so fast. So like when you do like this nair, this is just like this isn't like a real thing.
Opening. They would have to like actually just run into it on purpose.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is just a freebie Fox opening. Pretty much every time, like forever. It's just like, oh, it's a freebie, and it's because you did a mix against a faster character. You had not slowed down Fox and gotten a positional advantage by making him slower than you.
I see what you mean.
And small point here, it's almost always like it's almost always better to just hit Fox off stage here. Like nair down smash or nair run off double jump down air is pretty much always better. Like the general like Mango rule that I use from like trying to copy Mango combos is that he always just pushes Fox more into the corner. Mango is almost, unless he's doing like a shine where they DI that leads to top platform and then he pushes them out from the top platform, the combos in this matchup should almost always move towards the edge.
Okay, that makes more sense.
The biggest reason for it is that, first of all, like if you get him off stage, that opens up the down air kills, right? And the second reason is that if you hit him into the corner and you get a tech chase, it's the only time where Falco can guaranteed reaction tech chase Fox because he's in the corner, so he doesn't get full tech roll away.
Yeah.
And so that's just like a general rule that like you even like right here you could have done like down air down tilt or something like that after the down air. But you generally you want to push him towards the edge as much as you can. I think the nair here would have been the best, but
true.
Any option that gets him over there is good. And that was good. I like this. The second laser looked a little messy, but you made up for it with the up tilt.
Oh, hell yeah.
And whenever you get a chance to establish the laser, you should do it. So basically, is it
kind of like in the Falco Ditto, where like you just need
yeah. It's basically exactly like that, but the other guy he plays an extra fast Falco, but with no lasers.
Oh, okay. That actually is really helpful because I always wondered about that, where it's like sometimes it's a little ambiguous of like, do I really need to be shooting this many versus this guy? But it's like that actually clarifies it a lot, where it's like it basically is just like the Falco Ditto, where there's no reason not to have a laser.
Yeah, like the lasers just need to be out all the time. And he traded the lasers for the speed, and so it's like you need to mitigate the speed bonus that he has with the fact that he doesn't have lasers anymore. Whereas if you don't use your lasers, he just has the extra speed stat.
Okay.
And so, like, right here, like, rather than going for a mix like this, you want the laser here. I think the back air here was actually, like, a good back air. But it's more so that, like, at the very least, you should have still had a laser out here anyway. And even though this situation feels like maybe... Like, I've never really loved how the laser here sends Fox to edge. It does force him to do one more ledge dash. Like, if you shoot the laser here and hit him to edge.
You can always miss the ledge dash.
And, you know, even the best players in the world will miss more ledge dashes if you make them do more ledge dashes.
Oh, damn.
Like, if you make somebody do 100 ledge dashes, they're going to miss...
That's 5 head, bro.
They're going to miss more often. So it's like, shooting the laser here, sending him to edge is not the worst thing. And it gets you... What's up?
Oh, I guess in that spot when I did the back air, right, like you were saying, like at certain ranges when you do the laser, like you kind of like see what they do and then you get the read on them.
Yeah.
Like, if I had noticed that like in the corner he was running out a lot, would that have been like a good back air in the way that it was like informed that he was going to run out?
Here, let me see. Yeah, that's basically... So first of all, right here, you can do forward air down smash, like on this. The forward air reaches above the platforms, even if he would land on the platform, like you can hit him before he gets there. So you can do like short hop, forward air, and then like forward smash or down smash or something right here. But if you end up right here, so the reason why I think this back air would have been better if you were retreating more with it. Like if you like dashed here, like if you did like rather than the shield stop, if you like retreated with the back air. But I think like in general it was a fine move because you had a feeling he was running out of the corner. So it's not that I have a huge problem with it. It's more so that you like missed an opportunity to shoot another laser.
I see what you mean.
Because
Even if at the very least, I need to be shooting them more in general.
Because like if you know that he wants to move out of the corner, you could do like laser, then the back air, and like it's not gonna make the back air any worse, you know.
And you're not risking him like running in with some bullshit either.
Yeah, like because technically there's like right here he could have just done like dash back, dash in, and gotten a free punish here. And it's like, and it's like that is still like a mix, but the lasers allow you to like observe him in the corner without throwing out something committal.
I see what you mean.
And so like, so let me see. So, yeah, I think that was fine. Like the down air was like late enough. I still think like it's just the amount of the lasers. The lasers are definitely like I can tell that you're treating it like Falco's moves are what's important and the lasers are the assist, whereas in this matchup in particular it is the opposite.
I see what you mean.
Like the lasers are the main way you play neutral and move around, and the moves are more of like a capitalization on a read you get.
From the laser.
From the laser, yeah. Like, you use the lasers to get the reads, and then you make, like, basically you make the same reads you're making, but you make them, like, 6 lasers deeper when you're, like, way more certain of what Fox is going to do.
I see what you mean. And that's where I can actually play, like, a real mix-up where, like, I'm not just running in and then he full stop over me and then hits
Yeah, me. Exactly. Like, that won't happen as much because, like, he's not expecting you to jump in. He's expecting more lasers. So like an example of like what like a real opening would be like laser, you notice that he does this, and then you do dash back, dash in, down air, and it beats this. That would be like I deserved an opening because I shot the lasers, and so first of all it's like you shoot lasers, you stay safe from Fox, and then you look for potential opportunities. Like, I will say that, like, against most Foxes, most of the time, the openings that you get in this matchup are reactable. Like, they are, like, you move around and you shoot lasers, and then rather than the one super tricky mix-up that with your move, you get the one super tricky laser, which makes them do something reactable that lets you hit them.
Yeah, I noticed against the really good Foxes, like I'm East Coast, so I run into hacks like all the fucking time. That guy never lets me hit him, dude. He never. And it's because he's doing this shit where like he literally just doesn't do the freebies.
Yeah, and that is so people can get really good at avoiding giving you the freebies, and that is like why being good at the lasers is like it's kind of like, you know, like Diddy in like PM or something like that, where people are like, well, how do you beat Diddy? And you're like, well, you just get good against bananas, and then Diddy can't get you with the bananas. And then you play the world's best Diddy, and he's like, I use bananas 4 hours a day. Are you that good at bananas? And you're like, no. Like, admittedly, you are superior, like, at bananas. Like, because the other character, like, you are one matchup to the Fox player. Like, they only deal with lasers in one matchup out of all of them. Whereas you deal with lasers in every single matchup. So, like, theoretically, you should be better at the laser game than they are at countering the lasers almost every time.
That makes a lot of sense, actually, yeah.
And so, like, the response to someone being so good that you can't, that your lasers don't allow you to get openings should just be like like I just need to get even better at the lasers.
I
Not
see
that
what
the
you
lasers can't do it, but that this person is just better against the lasers than I am with them.
mean.
And yeah, I think this was good. So it looked like maybe it was like a little early. Yeah, I think that you just did
Yeah.
this a little early in general. There is a 50-50 on Fox full hopping here versus non full hop. But in general, it looked like you did it a little bit early. Like, I think out of the power shield here, I wouldn't take this because like
This
out of the
gamble.
power shield, Fox can like wave dash in. Like, there's all kinds of stuff that could be happening here. I would retreating laser, approaching laser here because Fox can't punish. Like, you just get like you just create a new position, which is your best starter. You're like, this position could go wrong for me, therefore retreating laser, approaching laser, and now I'm like back in the zone. And what's gonna happen now?
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you think Falco, you know how like Puff is really good in the way that she can like disengage almost any situation and keep
Yes.
creating new ones? Is Falco kind of like that too?
Yes. he yeah, he's definitely I think that's definitely like a significant piece of Falco. And because he's like a control character, you know, and so like Jigglypuff is kind of the opposite where she's like, well, I can't control what's the game state, but I can just remove myself from it, and that's like a form of control, just like avoiding the whole situation. But Falco, like, Jigglypuff can't create a new, better situation by running away. She can just run away and reset to neutral, and then, like, try to get a good situation from the neutral position. Whereas Falco can be like, I don't like this situation. I'm going to make a new one with new lasers. And the Fox is going to have to deal with it, and then I'll decide whether it's one that I like more. And if it's not one that I like more, I'll make a new situation with new lasers. And that is why the Foxes want to tear their hair out against my Falco. Is because every time they get even something that looks like they can maybe get something, I'm going to leave and I'm going to come back in with an even better setup. And I now have the info that you tried to power shield full hop. And I'm like, oh, you tried to power shield full hop, huh? Like,
Okay, we'll see what happens next time.
Maybe next time I can use that info. And it's not like I'm like, oh, you did that power shield full hop? Haha, next time I'm coming in with this thing that just beats that. You know, like, it's not immediate. It would be more like you do it a bunch of times and you reset it and you look for openings and then you're like, okay, this person kept doing this one action. And, like, when I would leave and come back in with, like, my lasers, I was not getting any better of a position ever. And when that happens, that's when you go to the lab and you're like, okay, here's the replay of them doing this action. Like, for like a good example, I'll get back to the replay in 1 second. I think this is a really good example, and I've actually been over this with some really good Falco players, so it's not immediately obvious.
Dude, am I a really good Falco player?
What's up?
Am I a really good Falco player?
Okay, so it's... The idea is there's something like... let me see, how did I set this up? So...
Yeah, I gotta get better. I suck at setting up replays. I need to...
So let's say Fox does... Counteraction ground is jump. Does he have a jump? I feel like he should have a jump option. Full hop. There we go. Yeah. So, like, let's say there's this spot where Fox does this, and let's just pretend he's coming down with, like, a drill here, right?
Yeah.
And so you get this spot where you're like, okay, I can't really get in because, like, I'm scared of his drift. And, like, if I do this, he hits me. And, like, and so it's like, okay, what? And so, like, maybe you shoot it and he full hops and you don't love it. And you just retreat and you start shooting him again. And you're like, okay, I'm not, like, losing any ground here. This is technically, like, a decent position for Falco. I'm getting laser damage, and Fox is not getting anything on me. But let's say we wanted to actually get him for it. So there's two options you can do here, and one I like doing more when people are in the corner, which is I'll do this. I'll get like the up air on the full hop. But if you think about it, that is a little bit risky, right? Whereas you want to solve your problems. Like it's cool to have those options, but your goal should not be like, oh, I see there's a way to solve it with this big read, so therefore like I'm good. That is, you need to figure out a way to solve it with the lasers. So like an example would be like, okay, you do like something where you do. Can I do this on this CPU doing this? Yeah, so it'd be like something where you do like, okay, against the fox that does this, I'm going to do retreating laser, approaching high laser, and I'm going to see what that does. So like, let's say they shield the first one and then they're going to jump or something like that. So I do boom, and then you shoot the high one. Oh, I got to get the position right. It's weird because the fox is not jumping exactly right, but the idea is that you would set up something where you get like
that like catches him.
Yeah, so you're like boom. He's doing like a weird timing, something like that.
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool. What the fuck? I've never seen that before.
Yeah, and so that's like the laser and you're like, oh, okay. And so now when you go into the matches and you see Fox do that thing, you have a laser pattern that you can be like, oh, that's that thing. Disengage. Come back in with my new laser plan that will beat your thing that you did last time. You know.
Or could you like do it where like as they're landing, you like land near them with a laser?
Yeah, and you can do this too, where you get like the second one where it's like, it's weird timing, like that, something like that. The weird thing here is that you'll notice is that basically if Fox drifts in extra far on the drill here, then like it kind of makes it a little tougher to get that. Whereas like doing, I think this was the other one I figured out where you do laser dash dance high laser, so. You get that, and it's a little bit tricky to figure out the exact timing on it, but you want to like every time Fox has something repeatable that is escaping, like that you can't find a way to get an advantage on, you can just go into the lab, figure out how to get an advantage on that spot, then try the laser pattern next time and see if it gives you an advantage. And eventually you have this big library of like, when Fox does this, I might do this type of laser, and every time I don't see one of the spots that's in the library, I leave. And then I come back in and I set up one of my super special laser techniques.
Damn. He is like a scientist, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, no, it's definitely like if you're like, nah, I just kind of want to get in there. It's like, there's a character for you.
You cut out. What'd you say?
What was the last thing you heard me say? I was just saying like, there's a character for you if you don't like, if you just want to get in there. There's a character for you, and it's this one.
No, I've been with the bird for too long. I'm down.
Oh no, I'm not telling you to play Fox. I'm saying that this character is kind of for dummies, but like he's just it's just the character. Like, you can play Fox pretty smart, but if you decide to turn your brain off, nothing goes wrong. Whereas Falco, when you decide to turn your brain off, it is not generally in your favor if they're a decent player.
So your advice to me, if I wanted to like go in and like, because the thing that you said about that I would be doing with Fox, like ideally I'd be doing that with every character in the game, right?
Can you like say?
Because like you would you said to like, you know, okay, you do a laser pattern, you go in and then you realize you can't get something, so then you go into the lab and you figure out something where you can get a good position out of it. So like, would you do that with every character in the game?
Generally, yes. I think there are the other characters a lot of times. So they have different strengths. So okay, so essentially this is like, it's like the laser setup reset game is how you're going to play as a basis against all the other characters. But there like against the other characters, maybe that like random, not random, but like the down air or the nair mix up is better than it is against Fox. So it's kind of like the other characters are like, you don't have to do this crazy scientific game plan that you do against Fox. Against
Fox
the
is
other
like the peak. He's like, you have to do this first Fox, and then all the other ones you have to some extent. But there's more liberties you can take because they're not
exactly like the basis is still there, but Fox is the one who like he checks all the boxes on like okay, like he has a really good full hop, he falls fast, he dashes back fast, he beats crouch cancel, like he just has all of these options that like make it really difficult to
Okay.
deal with, and so in order to beat him, you need like to
All of it.
scientifically create a system that Fox cannot like beat you for. Whereas like
If you're playing against Ganon, he just like
and
does
like
like a
yeah, like I've said it
flip.
I've said it before that like laserless Falco beats Dr. Mario. You don't need the lasers to beat Dr. Mario. You can just full hop
Oh,
and back air and down air and stuff. but
dude,
and so the lasers against Dr. Mario in fact like kind of make the matchup harder if you use too many because you're using this difficult part of Falco. Like you're using the perfect laser complicated laser game spacing stalemates and stuff like that against a character that you could beat by just
just
doing
running
basic
over.
just hitting him. And that's kind of like the summary of it.
Oh, I
Fox
gotta
is
go.
just the one that's like by far the hardest to deal with. Fox and there's like a couple characters that have like weird things that make them really good against laser. Like Marth has like the fair stuff.
Fucking Yoshi. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I gotta
I
look
was
at
about to
some
say Marth and Yoshi have like the weird stuff, and there are counterplays for those things, but they're all like they're hard. They're like extremely difficult particular things with the lasers, not like
the whole
the whole
package.
thing. Yeah, like some of these characters have like one stat that is way higher than even Fox, but Fox has high stats across the board. Like his power shield, wave dash in, shine is like what other
Insane.
character can do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus like Yoshi's so weird. Where like basically, if you want to beat Yoshi, you do drift back stationary lasers, where you jump short hop laser and then drift back after the laser comes out, and that just like destroys Yoshi. But it's like, who wants to do those all day? You know, like that's really hard. Like that's
Yeah, because I
miserable.
always notice when I'm playing against Yoshi, like he creates this stupid space in front of him. Of like, oh, if I go in, I get parried, and if I
Mm-hmm.
retreat, I give space, and then he comes in anyways, and then I get fucking armored. So it's like, what am I supposed to do
Yeah,
against that?
unfortunately, you have to fight Yoshi like Jigglypuff. You just have to camp him really, really hard. That's like the only solution. But
No,
anyway,
this is making a lot more sense now.
so and that's good. I'm really glad to hear that. And this is like there are a bunch of spots where, especially if Fox shields, when Fox shields the laser, that can trigger your dash back. Because a lot of times, like for instance, like here, Fox shields this laser, even though it's a power shield, because and this is like a whole thing that I go into with Fox mains where like you don't where like shielding the laser is kind of not as good because you lose access to your dash out of the laser. And so is Falco here. Now that Fox is in shield, he's lost his mobility. Remember, that's the main thing you're trying to do. You want to make him slower than you. Now that he's shield, his biggest full hop goes to here. He doesn't have these options to use his aerials that he did before. So now, if you wanted to dash dance, and he does this, you just get the dash dance down air because
He is limited.
he's limited. Exactly. So you have to limit him to make him more limited than you. And then you can like because if he's stationary and you're dash dancing, you're the fast one, even with Falco's super slow dash dance. And so this is like a small thing right here is just this laser's too high because uh there's no reason that Fox would ever be up here. The
Mm.
the like the lowest like the highest laser you'd want to shoot would be like the one where he can edge cancel on the platform. So it'd be like here.
Oh, okay.
And that would be like the highest one you'd ever want to shoot, and then you want the second one really low. I also think that like the distance that he is from the stage, like right here, I definitely feel like there's no guaranteed edge guard from this position, and so it's basically a high low. And I think you made a decent choice here by doing these lasers, but the heights they were at were a little messy.
Oh, okay.
Like essentially, if Fox is around, like if Fox is too close to the edge, like if Fox is here, there's no guaranteed edge guard in this position.
I always just try and shoot the laser to try and clip them going to the ledge. That's typically what I try and do.
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of things that can be kind of successful here. I think lasering the up B is really good, like lasering them while they're charging. I think lasering them out of the downward one sometimes is not as good because they just kind of like take it and then drift and grab edge. But if you're in a setup where you can catch them for the low one and then like laser F tilt or something like that, then it's fine. You just have to watch out for them going straight and like clipping you. Like rule number 1 when Fox is recovering is do not get reversaled. That's like always that's always rule number 1.
Yeah.
Because like there are so and like you and it's this very tricky dynamic where like you do not like Falco needs to hit the edge guards on Fox. He has to. If you don't hit the edge guards on Fox, he lives to 150. Fox at 150. This is like another quick rule of thumb. If Fox ever goes above 120, 130, just add another minute to the game time. Like, except, you just, no, like, literally, I'm telling you, man, like,
except that
if he, like, if he gets to that percent, just assume it will take at least a minute to kill him and play accordingly. Because it'll just get bad every time if you let it happen.
You try to force something.
Yeah, you just, because, just so you know, the game plan for every Fox at high percent is to camp against Falco and look for reversals. Every time. And so it's like as soon as they get to high percent, as soon as you get to high percent, then like they're gonna camp it out big. And when you're at a percent like this, there's a very specific thing you should do. So at around 128, it's a little bit lower, I think, but around 128, and I usually just say 130 plus, but I try to at least get Fox to like 128. Jab knocks down. And jab knocking down, so basically jab becomes a kill confirm at 128, whereas at this percent you don't get anything out of it. And so like very similar to at 0 when you need to get like that 10%, if you ever see Fox reasonably close to 130, you want to just laser him a bunch of times. And Fox wants to camp you super hard. Yeah, so like it's fine. They'll usually just let you get these lasers. And if they don't let you get these lasers, they're going to be approaching you, which is better for you anyway. So, like, doing for a mix of this percent is not necessary, because it should be just time to, like, get the extra percent. Because then you can just do something like right here. Instead of this approaching nair, you could do, like, laser, wave dash in, jab. And it would knock down, and then you can just kill out of the tech chase here.
Oh, okay.
Because otherwise at these high percents, like, even if you hit this nair, he goes off stage and you have to do an edge guard. And I know I haven't gotten through very much of the VOD. There's been a lot of, like, just talking about, like, the general things you want to be doing.
No, I mean, that's what, you need that first, because then more problems arise when you start.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see if I can find a couple applications of stuff here. Wow. I'm always like, well, I'm out of hit stun, so they're not going to go for it. and then they're like, here we go.
Yeah, bro. One track mind.
And I think this was actually, this was fine. You were just slightly late here. I think that something you can do in this spot, rather than the dash dance, is you do short hop backflip and then you do the down air because your body will like avoid this, and then you can just land right on them with the down air here, and he's at 11, which is like perfect percent. Small thing, never laser down tilt in place, like ever. Just it's bad.
Laser down tilt?
Yeah.
Is there a particular reason why?
It's just like the way laser down tilt is just like a 1-frame link basically, and if you do it out of approaching laser, it makes it easier a little bit, and you're more likely to get the 1-frame link, and it's kind of laggy. It's not that good in general. There are spots where you can like see a guaranteed hit on it and get it off of the approaching laser, but especially in place, it's like it makes you even slower. You know, like you're already slow enough. You don't want to give up your mobility even more.
I feel like it's pretty good versus Puff, right? At high percents, because you can kind of kill him really easily with that shit.
Yeah, that's slightly. So are you talking about on the ground?
Yeah, when they're on the ground, if you do like space detail, they can't exactly
Yeah,
super well, and if they don't shield it, then they die.
it's because the Puff is going for shield grab, and the Fox is trying to jump over the laser and up air you.
Oh, true.
You know,
Yeah.
like, that is the major difference. If they're trying to shield grab you, then I think it's fine, especially like against like the floatier characters that it kills earlier. It's really annoying because I always try to use it against Marth, but he just has too long of a shield grab range. But
Yeah.
but basically, like, Fox is just not gonna deal with your moves like that, so it's just not a very good option.
Okay.
But you're right against Puff. Like, if you space outside the shield grab and do like laser on shield down tilt, it's really really good. You can do the stationary one. I mean, don't do it in this
Go
matchup.
versus Fox.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you're also gonna want to use the platforms a lot in this matchup to like the
Reset.
platforms are essentially Falco's Fox full hop. So like you can do like laser, 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 full hop, waveland off, down air is you doing like full hop down air. Like,
Is
like
it kind of like in the Falco matchup too, where you can use platforms to pseudo reset?
yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I do that a lot. Where it's like kind of like if Fox full hops up here, then maybe he gets short hop up air or something. It basically just dodges grounded move and short hop. So like you can do a thing where you're kind of like, okay, like I'm waiting for your full hops, and then he rushes in, and you're like, go to platform, reset, come down, different side with laser.
Okay.
There's also you can also do the thing you do in the Falco Ditto where you go to side plat and then dash short hop turnaround laser, and that gives you center.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I use the platforms a lot in this matchup, and if there's a top platform, I full hop a lot.
Hmm.
I like it. There's so many times if I'm on like Battlefield or Dreamland or something where I'll do this where I'm like shooting the laser, and I'll just keep shooting. I'll shoot like 4, and then like when they try to get over to me, I full hop to top plat, and then I drop down with a turnaround laser, and now they took 5 lasers and they're in the corner.
That was really funny.
I like that spot, and so yeah, this is just like an example of like you're kind of throwing these nairs out like, well, I have to hit Fox with like my moves eventually, but you don't need to do that like while moving forward because you have your lasers. Like, notice that Fox is not just standing here invulnerable. Fox is moving, he's trying things, he's doing all this stuff, and like while the lasers are coming out, he's getting hit by all these. Look, like laser, like he's taking damage this whole time, and he's moving dynamically. So like there are times eventually during this laser movement where you'll just see an actual opening. Like basically what a lot of Falcos do is they shoot the lasers, and they're like, if there's not an opening after a couple lasers, I'll attack. But like that just makes it from the Fox end that all they have to do is deal with a couple lasers and then beat your attack. Whereas like if you're like, I will shoot lasers
until I can.
Yeah, because like think about this. Like if Fox is doing this and you don't stop doing lasers. Like if you don't stop doing lasers here, Fox has not solved a problem. Like all Fox has done is move around outside of your range and get hit by lasers. Fox hasn't actually solved anything. So if you like shoot a bunch of lasers and Fox doesn't actually deal with the issues, and then you attack, Fox is like, oh, thank you. Like I didn't know how to deal with the lasers, so I just kind of avoided you while you shot them.
Yeah.
And now that you're down to fight, I'm down to fight too. And then they win.
I guess the problem I get into is like now that like we've gone over this, it's like I would reach a stale point with a lot of Foxes, where like especially the better ones, where like, well, it's like, oh, dude, you're just shooting lasers. Well, I'll just run away forever. And it's like, well, I just don't want to just keep doing this forever, so I got to hit you eventually. But now I can like kind of frame it to be like, okay, well now I can set up the lasers in like a proactive way where I can eventually get a good spot to get an opening.
Exactly. And if you notice that they keep being able to run away in the same way, that's when you hit the lab and you're like, what do they do? Like there's a lot of, especially with the platforms, there's a lot going on where we're almost at an hour, but like I can explain this pretty quick.
Sure.
So it's not always the most simple how to deal with everything. So like, let's say we're right here, and we're like, okay, I'm gonna shoot Fox with a laser, and then Fox is gonna avoid the laser by going here. Now what do I do? And you're like, huh? Well, I can't really shoot him, like from here. And so you're like, well, I could like try to get in, or I can shoot these, which will hit Fox. I like these actually quite a bit because they hit Fox for going to the top plat and for staying on the side plat. So you can shoot one up here and then shoot one down there, and they'll hit both. And from over here, if Fox decides to stay on the side plat, first of all, you have these. Second of all, you have these, which let you like approach like this. And then the third thing that people kind of get wrong is that you can just go up here. So if you shoot this and Fox goes there, I can go here. And as Fox right here, you don't really like that because Falco has like late aerials onto you, or you have drop laser here, or you have run off and do this laser. And so it's like you can be like, okay, and then so let's say Fox is, if I go here and then Fox goes up here and then I go up here and then Fox comes down to here, I can either do something like this where I'm like threatening, and now I have
like
center.
pressing him like out of the side platform.
Yeah, exactly. So there's ways that you can. Oh, so now he's actually there, and now I have that set up. Or oh, he's on the side plat, and now so I'm here, and then oh, I'm pressuring like this, and now I just go back. I'm going back. I'm doing this, and like he's not. It's not stable. He can't just stay in one particular position. So every time he runs away, I can just move to a position that like makes my position a little bit stronger, and you just slowly track him down. And if they want to camp really hard, like if anyone in this game wants to just run away, you can do it too. You can sit up here and do this, you know. And it's like you're not really gonna get like if because like let's say you're playing against Fox and you're like, I want to just do this, and I feel like Fox can't really get me if I do this. It doesn't feel like it's going to be that good. You feel like eventually you're going to lose because you're not really making too much happen. And if the Fox is just avoiding your lasers and you're just able to like keep pressuring Fox over and over, eventually you'll get something. Like if they're playing overly passive.
Yeah.
So like what you don't want is I do this, Fox goes to side plat. I don't know, I do this, Fox comes down. Oh, he's down again? Well, if I laser him, he'll just go to side plat again. So I better just draw. You know, like that's what you don't want. You want it to be like, okay, like I need to track him down, and then if something happens that creates like a loop, you know, where like I do this, they do this, and now I go back and they go back. If you do something that creates a loop, and there are some loops in the game that are really hard to break, but in general, if you see a loop, that is an opportunity to go to the lab and figure out, like, what can I do to slightly make this position unstable in a way that's, like, safe for me?
That was really helpful, yeah. I'm going to have a lot to think about and work on.
Okay, awesome. I'm glad. Do you have any final thoughts or questions?
No, I just, like, I think I'm going to have to think a lot about Fox and how to approach him better. I'm also going to have to go back and think about the other characters too, because I was struggling a lot against Marth until I realized that I just need to be playing a little bit farther away from him.
Marth is another weird one.
Yeah, like you got to play at such a weird range against Marth where it's like, at least in my mind, it's okay to be like a roll length or even a little bit further away, because then at least he can't fucking hit you.
Yeah,
and then you can kind of slowly work your way in.
Yeah, now the Marth one is weird, but I think like you either want to be like it's good to be far away against Marth, and it's good to be close, and it's not good to be
in the middle.
In the middle, yeah. You don't want to. You can be in the middle, but not for too long.
Yeah, so I gotta think about that versus all the other characters, and then specifically work against Fox.
Yeah, and what I usually try to tell people is that this is like the matchup that you want to learn. Like, I think the Falco Ditto is more complicated than this and like very weird, and Marth is very weird. I think this matchup and Sheik are like the two that like they're kind of like the base. I think like basically Fox, Sheik, and Peach are kind of like the three different types of matchups you want to play. Like you're like Samus, and you're like that's just like a Peach, you know. And
that's like Marth.
And then you're like, well, and Marth is kind of like his own sort of like unique character, you know what I mean? But but like like basically Sheik is kind of like Marth without the weirdness. And so you get to practice a lot of the stuff against him without it like being like, oh, they're just gonna mash fair on every laser or whatever like that.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So like you can extrapolate like Fox, Sheik, and Peach to basically any character.
Yeah, like you learn like the game plan, and like the fact that you already have Puff means that like the floatier archetype and like just like consistently playing kind of like safe with the lasers against the slow characters feels like you kind of have that down if you're doing well against Puff. But if you're struggling with this matchup, like basically once you play this matchup well, they throw Captain Falcon at you, and you're like, that is not better than what Fox can do to me. Like Falcon is just way easier Fox with a few different laser patterns, you know? Like
I see what you mean.
And because he's fast, you know, he's so fast, and you're like, well, I already know how to deal with fast characters. You know, and he's just like has like worse options against me than Fox. And so like this one is just like the big one. I think this out of all of Falco's matchups is the most important. And when I started learning the character, I literally just spent like 4 months straight on only Fox before I learned any other matchup.
Okay.
And it's like very, very useful because eventually they just put you in there and you're like, you don't have a shine, you don't have drill, you don't have up throw up air, you don't have up smash, you can't wave dash as fast as Fox, your dash is slower. Like, why would I ever lose to this character? You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, so that's basically like the summary.
Okay, cool.
And
no, I'll go ahead.
Oh, what were you gonna say?
No, I forgot. You go.
Okay. Well, it was great talking, and I hope you have a good one. And I'll send you like the Venmo stuff.
The Venmo, yeah. You know what's one funny thing that I noticed both about, because I watch a lot of the top player analysis videos. You know what I noticed is a common trend amongst all of them?
What?
All you motherfuckers are using illegal Windows, bro. Like none of you guys pay for Windows.
It's not illegal.
It says activate Windows, bro.
If it was illegal, it wouldn't say activate Windows because I would have activated it with like a cracked version. This is Windows 10. You just don't have to pay for it.
Oh.
Windows 10 is free, but you can't change your desktop background, and it says activate Windows. And otherwise, it's the exact same system for free.
Holy shit, I didn't know that. I guess all you guys are just using free Windows.
And so it's like, I'll be honest, I used a cracked version for 7. and it did not say activate Windows there. But when I got my new computer and I put 10 on, it said it, and I was like, I don't want to buy Windows. And then they're like, I looked online and they're like, yeah, we'll be honest. It says activate Windows, and you have to use the default background. Like I have like the default background, and like otherwise it's just free.
Damn. Okay.
So, yeah, not illegal. Actually, the official version.
All right, it was cool talking, bro. Thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely. I hope you have a good one, and I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later, man. Peace.